Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Jay Encarnacion, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we are thrilled to have Len Bland, the founder and CEO of Nano Gas Environmental. Len brings a unique blend of financial expertise as a registered CPA, strategic leadership from his time at Concept Equity Group, and a passion for solving environmental challenges through nanobubble technology. Based in the US, Nano Gas Environmental, founded to address water scarcity and pollution, is revolutionizing wastewater treatment and oil production with sustainable, scalable solutions. We'll be exploring his founding story, how his business is transforming industries, and his vision for scaling this impact-driven venture. So with that being said, let's dive right in. Len, welcome to Founders Future.
Thank you, Jay.
Absolute pleasure having you on the show today, Len. Can't wait to dive in here deeper with you. So take us back to the beginning, if you can, Len. What specific problem in the environmental landscape really inspired you to start Nano Gas Environmental?
I was introduced to a company that was reducing the sludge coming from a wastewater treatment plant by 80%, 80% less trucking, 80% less landfill. I thought that was amazing and I wanted to be part of it.
Incredible. So that really was the inception of where we are now. So from what you're doing with Nano Gas Environmental, how has your offer evolved since you first started to today? So from what you're providing to who you're serving, how's that continuously evolved to now?
We originally thought we were going to be solely in the wastewater treatment business. We identified 2.5 pages of big markets we could go after. But after identifying what made the most sense, we continue to look at wastewater, but we also identified the oil and gas industry. And so that's where we're really focused. We think there's an opportunity for nanobubbles in agriculture, but we've licensed that out to our partner, and there are many more opportunities.
Incredible. So, I mean, I definitely, especially for our listeners who aren't very versed in this space and could want to get into it or could potentially utilize your services, walk us through really how Nano Gas Environmental generates revenue today. So, as far as the core offer, what do you bring to the table? How is it structured for your clients? I know that you like to work with wastewater and oil and gas and those companies in that industry. How is that offer structured for your clients when you do work with them?
We have patented mobile equipment that we roll out onto site to solve their problem. That could be cleaning up their lagoon or pond. It could be expanding the capacity of their wastewater treatment plant. It could be removing corrosive chemicals and hydrocarbons and suspended solids from the water produced by the oil industry so they could reuse that water. Or it could be sending nanobubble rich water into the oil well to recover more oil.
That is incredible. Talk to me on that. How does that technology even work? If you can give us just a little bit of a snippet, because that's incredible to be able to extract more oil utilizing this technology. How did that even come about?
Yeah, and we're using nothing but nitrogen or oxygen from the air, so it's
Wow.
great. The way that works is that we have a patented process that makes really tiny bubbles, usually about 100 nanometers in size. And when the bubbles are so small, you can imagine opening up your soda
Yeah.
and you know how the carbon dioxide comes out?
Yeah.
Well, they're so small they don't rise, so they're neutrally buoyant, so no gas comes out. So we multiply the amount of gas you can have in a liquid, and we could have as many as 1.6 trillion nanobubbles in a gallon of liquid. So really exciting. So now you have all this gas in there. That changes the way liquids work. It changes it biologically, it changes it chemically, and it changes it physically. And it's one of those changes that supports how we do each of the things we do.
That is truly incredible. So with that and with that type of offer that you have and the products that you have, how does it work to acquire new clients for you? What's working best on that acquisition front to consistently get new leads and be working with new clients? Are you guys doing anything around ads, or is it referrals from the success that you've had with your technology or social media? What's working best for you on that front?
We expect referrals to work in the long run, but we're not there yet.
Hmm.
And so our strategy is to use service providers or distributors. For example, we have a distributor in Texas that is introducing us to wastewater treatment systems, to lagoons. We have a representative in Wyoming that's introducing us to oil wells, although most of the oil wells are in Texas. And we could strengthen our representative and distributor representation, and we're interested in doing that.
So with that and the idea of lead predictability and scale, are you guys also thinking about other avenues like ads and having a social media presence? How do you think about that side with the scale of the company?
Yeah, we're right in the process of redoing our approach to marketing. We just brought in a fractional CMO. So after working on our investment offering, now he's working on our website. And then the next thing is providing regular content with a LinkedIn focus and probably YouTube as well.
Incredible. So with that there, you just brought on the fractional CMO to help you guys out on that marketing side so you can focus on being the founder and the fulfillment side and that technology that you have. It's incredible. What does that sales process look like? Is how big is that team that's helping you out? Do you have any salespeople? I know you just got that marketing guy. What does that look like overall to help you really get this out?
Yeah, so everybody in the company is a salesperson, of
Yeah.
course, but we're still an early stage business, so we just have 5, 6 people working part-time or full-time in the company. So that means we're relying on external resources, independent sales reps, independent distributors to help us with our sales and distribution process.
Absolutely incredible on that front. So as you continue to grow and build and get the name out there, then you'll have some more systems and stability in place there, which is amazing with what you're doing. So where you are right now, being that you're still in that startup, growing and getting through all that, what can you point to today, Len, as the biggest bottleneck that you're thinking about that you need to solve, whether that be consistent lead generation or converting your leads into clients or delivering on the fulfillment side with your current capacity? What are you thinking about on that front?
I think we have this great opportunity in front of us to do new lagoons and new wells. And one of the things we need to do is make sure we capture great information. We've been capturing the information, but we want to have quality information, referenceable clients that are going to help us in the sales process. And then the next thing is we want people to know about us. We that's a huge opportunity for people to know, and when they know about us, when they can find us, they love what we're doing.
And it sounds incredible, right? What you're doing is literally a game changer and can help so many businesses and people alike. So just incredible to have this type of technology and amazing to hear what you're going to be able to do on that. If you had to identify one thing that if you solved it today, it would make the biggest impact on Nano Gas Environmental's growth, what would that be?
Again, I think it's referenceable clients, but let me give you an example. We were out at a golf course in Arizona last
Yeah.
September. The stink was so bad that nearby residents' pets were getting sick every morning. That was toxic, and it was covered with algae. And the residents complained to the golf course. They tried all these chemicals, nothing worked. Eventually, the residents got fed up and they sued the golf course.
Oh, wow.
We came in there, and in 12 days of providing our nanobubbles along with beneficial microbes, the entire stink was completely gone. The residents said it went from, on a scale of 0 to 10, where 10 was really bad, it went from a 14 to a 0. So we just need to get those stories out, make sure people know about them that have these kinds of issues. The algae was all gone. The stink was cleaned up in 12 days. Another example is a small 300 home community in West Texas. They had let their sewage lagoon build up over time. It was covered with algae, so thick bugs were walking on top of it. It was full. They were building up sludge islands, and they were told it's going to cost them $1 million to dredge their lagoon. So 300 home community, $1 million. That's a lot. We went in there and we were able to solve their problem for less than 20% of what it would have cost them to dredge. So we're providing huge savings to the customers, and that's what people love.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible on that front. Talk to us a bit about what your vision is for the rest of this year, Len. What are your top priorities? What are you laser focused on for the growth of Nano Gas Environmental? Talk to us a bit about what that picture looks like to you.
Yeah, we're moving from pilot into production. And so our vision is to continue to sign up clients to be challenged to build equipment fast enough to meet client needs. And as we add clients, we'll be building equipment. It just takes, we all have to deal with supply chains, but once we have all the pieces in place, it takes us a week to build a new piece. And what we do is we lease that out to the customer. So that means we solve their problem. And then if they want a long-term solution, we can provide a smaller unit that will make sure that problem never reoccurs.
Absolutely incredible there. How do you see, Len, being in this space and having as much knowledge, intelligence, and just drive to succeed here and now going into production mode? How do you see the environmental tech industry evolving in the coming years, especially with your low energy, chemical free approach? What are you really doing to position yourself ahead of the evolution that you're picturing?
Yeah, this is one of those overnight successes that have taken 13, 14 years.
Right.
So people started talking about nanobubbles that long ago and nobody paid attention, and they're still just starting to pay attention. And yet they're using all these old traditional technologies that cost them more money and don't work as well. So we think that the market is just starting to learn about this stuff, just starting to believe that it works. So it's a lot of work in educating the market and letting people know we're out there. And that's a combination of marketing and sales.
Absolutely incredible on that front. So, with that, I do want to take us into the lightning round here, Len, because it's been amazing to hear what you're doing with this technology. And it's clear as day that you're going to make some big waves once you really start to hit home, especially now that you're in production mode. So, what's a tool or a resource, Len, that you're utilizing right now? Maybe it's a financial strategy from your CPA days or an innovation in the nanobubble tech or an AI tool that you're utilizing. But what till today has been really a game changer for Nano Gas Environmental?
It's the biggest game changer for us are the patents we've been able to secure on both how we do it and on certain markets. For example, we built a brand new way of doing things. We don't clog up. We produce more nanobubbles than anybody else. That means we have a smaller side stream, less equipment than anybody else needs to apply to solve the same problem. And that means that we could work with dirty water.
Mm,
And so people with dirty water aren't they're used to thinking chemicals. They're used to thinking, let me go to the chemical shop and I'll throw one chemical after another at it. And then those don't fully solve the problem. And so they're just blown away when they find out it can be just oxygen or nitrogen from the air.
amazing.
And so that's a game changer. And while nanobubble market share is growing, the markets we're going after are huge multi-billion-dollar markets that people are just becoming aware of things. And so that kind of sales and marketing education process and letting people know it's out there is really important.
Absolutely amazing. And then on the advice side of things here, Len, what is the best piece of advice that you've personally ever received about scaling a mission-driven business, especially with the experience that you have?
Wow, the best piece of advice that's pretty tricky, but I one piece of advice is just take your foot off the bag. So you're not getting anywhere unless you're not going to steal second base unless you start leaving first base.
I love that. And then last but certainly not least here, Len, to wrap up the show, what is the best piece of advice that you can offer to our listeners? So other founders, entrepreneurs, business owners who are either starting out or in the middle of their journeys and want that drive and passion that you have, what can you offer them before we wrap up the show?
When I talk to business owners, I often think about why do people make decisions? And people make decisions for emotional reasons. A lot of times founders are scientists or engineers, and they think that they're going to build a better mousetrap and people are going to come running to their door. it turns out that we need to find what is the challenge people are facing emotionally. We need to talk about how we can address that problem and what kind of solution we provide. We don't have to dig so much into the detail of the technology. It's all there. We can talk about it, but it's really about just solving people's problems and making them feel better.
I love that. With that right there, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap up another inspiring episode of Founders Future. I just want to thank you again, Len, for sharing this incredible journey and your insights with us on the show today. Clear as day, as I mentioned, you're going to do some incredible things. That technology is amazing. So I can't wait to see where this goes. And truly, it was an honor and a pleasure to have you on the show walking us through that. And to our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, which I know so many of you have, don't forget to subscribe to Founders Future wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And you can also check out Nano Gas Environmental at nanogasenvironmental.com to learn more about their nano bubble solutions, and follow Len on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/in/Len Bland. For more resources and insights, visit closers.io, where we are dedicated to helping businesses accelerate their growth through trained appointment setters and world-class marketing systems. Until then, keep climbing, and we will see you on the next one.